Hey guys, this is a Pokemon TCG video. This is my personal favorite deck to just hand people and let them play because it's simple, easy to set up, and not a whole lot of math. So let's get into it. It's also just generally good for beginners. It is an Okidogi. It is the baby Okidogi deck. This is a popular deck to make deck lists for, despite it not being a fully meta deck. Anyways, this is how I run it. I got 4 baby Dogi, a 2/2 line of Binacle and Barbaracle for energy acceleration, another 2/2 line of Solrock and Lunatone for draw support, Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon for when you need a wall, and then when Okidogi just isn't dealing enough damage late game, Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Alright. So, let's now get into the cards. And Baby Bloodmoon isn't one that you see a lot of the time. Also, whenever I say baby, it is often referring to a card that has an EX variant. I am referring to the non-EX version. So, Baby Bloodmoon. As you can see here, it allows you to attach 2 energy from your hand as you play it. So it's just one manual attachment away from dealing upwards of a lot of damage, because it's 100 plus 30 per damage counter already on your opponent's active. So if it already has 70 damage on it, you are hitting for 310 damage, which is enough to knock out anything in the game. And I mentioned 70 damage because that is a convenient number for this deck to hit, because everything hits for a minimum of 70, aside from the Lunatone and the Binacle. Then there is the Lunar Cycle Draw Engine. My personal opinion, it should go in every fighting deck because there's no reason for it not to. The reason why I have to have both of these out is because Lunatone, and I guess Solrock. Once during your turn, if you have a Solrock in play, you may discard a basic fighting energy and then just draw 3. You can only use it once per turn, and that is a hard once per turn. So, it's a pretty much guaranteed draw 3 because we run a decent amount of basic fighting. Now, for the energy acceleration, we have Barbaracle. Just attach 1 basic fighting to one of your fighting Pokemon. This normally would not be enough, or relatively not worth it in most fighting decks because Cynthia's Garchomp, which is also a deck that I've been wanting to try, and I've been trying on live, and it is very fun. Point being, Cynthia's Garchomp, most of the time you only want to use the one energy attack, and you can just manual attach. Alright. Mega Lucario, same idea. You can just manual attach. Okay. Okidogi, however, you're gonna need a minimum of 2 fighting energy to deal any damage with Okidogi. So, Okidogi, 130 HP, 70 damage. However, the ability, if it has any dark type energy attached, notice how it does not say basic dark. It gets plus 100, so it hits to 230 HP and then plus 100 damage. So 170, which, granted, still not massive, but it hits a lot of important numbers. Well, not important numbers, but important Pokemon. It one-shots Pheasantipity EX, which you are going to be seeing a lot of because it is a generically good card. It one-shots Meowth EX, which is, again, you're going to see a lot of because it is a generically good card. It one-shots Mega Kangaskhan, so that is a 3-prizer that you are one-shotting, which is great. Oh, hello. Pretty much every middle stage, stage 1. Anyways, it one-shots a lot of important things. But you just want to be constantly swinging with Okidogi. Now, onto the energy. There is 6 basic fighting. There's 6 basic fighting. 4 Prism Energy. 3 Rocky Fighting. 1 Legacy. There's our ace spec. And 1 Dark. Now, if the Dark Energy is what activates the ability, why are we only running 1 of it? Well, if we were running Dark Energy to pay for the ability, then we would need 3 total energy attached. Whereas the Prism and Legacy Energy at the same time pays for both the ability and the attack cost. So you can attach 1 to an Okidogi. So you can attach 1 to an Okidogi. Let's say you have a Barbaracle on the bench. You can immediately Stone Arms and attach and start hitting for 170 and having 230. That's the idea. That's the main attacking loop that you want to get into. Now, on to the trainers. We're going to start with the least amount and go up higher. For the tools, 2 Air Balloon. Gives your main attacker free retreat, Gives pretty much everything free retreat except for the baby Bloodmoon. So, your energy acceleration can't get stuck. Your draw can't get stuck. If you're in a bad position with your active attacker, it won't be stuck. All in all, just nice to have an option to retreat. Ugh. Now, stadiums. Three Battle Cage. I'm not going to show that one to read because that's just awful to read in general. Prevent all damage counters from being placed onto your benched Pokemon by effects of attacks or abilities. Now, I like this because it shuts down the secondary effect of the currently still most dominant deck in format, being Dragapult. You can't have damage counters placed. Hold on, hydration. You can't have damage counters placed on your bench. So, you are safe from, oh no, my Okidogi has 3 damage counters already on it due to Phantom Dive. If I move it up and they swing, it dies. How awful. So that is Battle Cage. I don't know which one of these has less, so we're just going to go with supporters. So, for supporters, 4 Lillies, 3 Boss's Orders, 2 Tarragon, and 2 Team Rocket's Petrel. Petrel, grab any trainer card. Now, since this is a more beginner-focused video, special energies are not trainers. So you cannot play this and go grab a Prism Energy or a Legacy Energy. What you can grab, however, is any of these, so you can't use them the same turn, but that's besides the point. You're mainly going to be using this to grab items and maybe an air balloon every once in a while. Tarragon. Put 4 in any combination of fighting Pokemon and basic fighting energy cards back into my hand from, well, your hand from the discard pile. This is great for setting up baby Bloodmoon, because not all of the time are you going to have it in hand along with 3 fighting energy. Or just 2 fighting energy. So, once you've lunar cycled a couple of times and it's getting later in the game, you can play Tarragon. Well, yeah, you can play Tarragon to get back a 4 fighting energy, or if baby Bloodmoon is already in the discard, 3 fighting energy and baby Bloodmoon, and then immediately play it to bench and hit that big knockout. So that's why I run Tarragon over Lana's Aid, because Tarragon is just better for this deck, because it is only fighting Pokemon. Boss's Orders. You're going to be encountering this card a lot. I am sorry if I am talking fast. I'm a bit hyped up on caffeine right now. Anyways, you're going to be encountering this card a lot. It is a very simple effect. Switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon to the active spot. I run 3 of these, so that way you can pretty much, every turn that you have a boss, you have a knockout. Because you can knock out a Fez or a support Pokemon that was just played onto the bench, which stifles their game plan and furthers your prize taking, which is always good. Lillie's Determination. Just good draw. If you are screwed over by your opening hand and you have this in it, you can shuffle your entire hand back into your deck and then draw 8 new cards until you take a prize card, and then it's only 6, which is still really good. This is the replacement for a card of formats past called Professor's Orders. Simple but good. Discard your hand, draw 7. Simple but good. I still ache that it is gone. Now, on to the items. Okay. So, for Poké Pad, search your deck for any non-Rule Box Pokemon. Reveal it, put it into your hand. Okay, a Rule Box Pokemon is pretty much just EXs at this point. So, Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX. This is going to be your only Rule Box Pokemon. So if you're searching with this, you're not searching for this. For Fighting Gong, search your deck for a basic Fighting Energy or a basic Fighting Pokemon. Now, if you're searching with this, you can search for this. However, you cannot search for the Barbaracle. And you cannot search for the Rocky Fighting Energy. Three Night Stretcher. If you are torn between attaching an energy or using Lunar Cycle, and you have one of these in hand, use Lunar Cycle, play the Night Stretcher, and then attach the Fighting Energy. That way you have both. Three Pokégear. Look at the top 7 of your deck. Grab a supporter card and shuffle the others back into your deck. Most of the times that I've played this, I have either been looking for Boss's Orders or Tarragon. However, if you are presented with other options, take it so that way it's not wasted. And now, the final item card and the final card of the deck. Special Red Card. This is from the newest set at the time of recording, Chaos Rising. So this one might be a little bit hard to find. But you can only use this if your opponent has 3 or fewer prizes remaining. They shuffle their hand to the bottom of their deck and draw 3. So, this is great for hand disruption. If you are going against Alakazam or anything that requires cards in their hand, which is most decks want cards in their hand, then you play this and slow them down a little bit. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you an example of a first turn that you're going to want to take. We'll be back in 1 second. And we're back. So I have shuffled the deck, and we are going to go. Alright. Go up. And play test. So. Hate that I'm doing this right now, but whatever. There we go. Full play mat in view. Also, when you're drawing your first 7, don't be afraid to pick up more than 7 off the top. Once you get your 7, you just put it back. Put the rest back. Now. Okay. This is a pretty darn good starting hand. So, then we set out our prizes. Then we set out our starting Pokemon. And we flip them over and start the game. Okay. Now, notice the way that I have put them. You want Okidogi in the front if you are going first. If you are going second, you want Solrock in the front, just so that way you can quick damage, but that's... never mind, ignore that part, because that's not how you play the game. Anyways. Now, this is the rest of our hand. Draw for turn. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play Poké Pad and Fighting Gong. We are going to, off the Fighting Gong, grab a basic Fighting Energy. And off of the Poké Pad, we are going to grab a Binacle. Now, I'm shuffling because you only need to shuffle if the next thing you're gonna do is draw, or it's the end of your turn. Okay, that's shuffled enough. These two go in the discard. Bench down Binacle. Then we are going to use Lunar Cycle to discard a Fighting Energy and draw 1, 2, 3. Okay. We attach the Legacy Energy for turn. And then we pass. Now, let's say they're playing something like Dragapult, and they played a Risky Ruins. You're going to want to get rid of that immediately. Or if they're playing Festival Lead and they play a Festival Grounds, you want to get rid of that immediately. So now it's back to our turn. We draw for turn, And since they played a stadium, we play our stadium. We attach a fighting energy, so now we can attack and start swinging for 270. However, we're not doing that right now because attacking ends your turn. We are going to play Lillie's Determination to shuffle our hand in and draw 8. Here, let me not punch the camera. Supporter goes in the discard. Okay, fighting energy. Okay. Now, here's the order that we do things. We are going to Poké Pad twice to grab a Barbaracle and an Okidogi. Oh, I forgot to explain what the A-Spec part of our A-Spec does. So, it just means that if this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack, your opponent takes 1 less prize. So they are taking 0 prizes for knocking out this Okidogi. Okay. Now what we do is we evolve Barbaracle since it's been in play for 1 turn. Then we bench Okidogi. We use the Barbaracle's ability to attach a fighting energy to Okidogi, and then we use Lunar Cycle to discard an energy and draw 1, 2, 3. Now we attack and take our first prize. That is the general play for the deck. Is you want at least 1 Okidogi on the bench, these 2 on the bench, 1 Okidogi, 1 Lunatone, 1 Solrock on the bench, and then at least 1 Barbaracle. Now, you want to actually really have a bench space open so that way, I can bench Cornerstone or Bloodmoon. Just so that way you can have another option. However, if you are in a matchup where those don't really matter, have a second Okidogi on the bench. So that way you have 2 set up. Anyways, thank you for watching. And have a wonderful day. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to those who watched all the way to the end.